Hey guys, so I noticed that only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you like my content, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications to make sure that my content gets to you on time. Let me go ahead and split into two different types of items. The first type of items is like items that are flexible or like utility items that you haven't decided to comp yet, right? So these items aren't for your main carry, but these items are for like utility. So this is the utility item tier list. If you don't know what comp you're going, I'm pretty sure Shroud is the best item in the game. Pretty sure this one's undisputedly the best radiant item. It's like because what happens is that when you shroud the enemy team, if you get it on the correct side, you get 15 mana, the enemy gets like minus like 20, 25 mana. So you're casting almost like 4 or 5 auto attacks. So that's like 4 or 5 seconds earlier than the enemy. If your entire team casts like 4 or 5 seconds earlier than the enemy, it's usually just like it's usually just a wrap. Okay, this is a carry item, so we'll do it later. Carry item. Blue buff's kind of a carry item. Okay, this is like a generalist item. This item's really good on like units like Hecarim, but it's not super amazing. This is kind of a utility item. I'm down to put it under a utility item. It's also pretty decent. This is for your main tank. This is like a general item for AP carries though. So maybe I'll do it under AP carry. AD carry item. General tank item. It's about the same level as Bramble. I think Bramble's slightly better. So maybe we'll bump it up. I haven't decided yet. Frozen Heart's pretty bad. There's not many units that can use it well. Pyke and Diana are like probably the best users of it, but it's still kind of weak in general. Most users of Frozen Heart like Volibear, the 30 additional mana you get from Frozen Heart, Radiant Frozen Heart is pretty useless because like they would get that within seconds of getting auto attacked, so it's pretty bad. Gargoyle is just a worse version of these two, I would say, but probably around this Dragon Squad here. Jane's more of a carry item, but I think it's debatable as utility item. Gwyn's just a carry item, carry item, carry item, carry item. This is a utility item. I think this item's pretty bad. Probably around this tier. It's good on Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks an Abomination, but the problem with Radiant Ionic Spark is that Abomination is not super popular anymore. The reason why it's good on Abomination is because the Abomination can proc the Ionic Spark twice. So Fiddle goes in, hits everyone with an Ionic Spark, and the Abomination charges in. More says Radiant Ionic has the highest win rate. Oh shit, really? Well, maybe I'm wrong. I think it's pretty bad. I'm not gonna. The win rate's not gonna change my mind though. Locket is actually pretty good. For teams without a frontline, Locket's one of the best. I would say it's here, but I know other people don't like Locket though. Morelo's pretty bad. Morelo's worse than Sapphire. The thing about Morelo is like it's good on Volibear, but Volibear doesn't show up at the time that you're picking a Radiant item. And there's not many units that can use Morelo until like you get more Volibear or Garen. Yeah, this item's surprisingly decent. Oh, it's because Radiant Ionic is always on Abomination. Abomination is the best user. Oh, that's right. So like Radiant Ionic, you only pick it when you're playing Abomination, and because Abomination had the highest win rate, it was artificially inflated. Okay, see that makes sense. Carry item, carry item, carry item. Lock. Okay, this item is pretty sure Radiant Redemption is pretty mediocre. Your unit needs to survive a long time for it to matter, and honestly, you're better off as playing. If you want a tank item, you're better off taking some of the other tank items. This item isn't super great. Like you're better off taking some of the other tank items. Carry item, carry item, carry item. This is kind of a carry item, but it's so bad. I'm gonna put it in dev tier. I don't know if it's carry item. I think it is carry item, but it's really bad. Chosen's carry item. Sunfire is one notch above Morelo, probably this tier. Thieves Glass is S tier. Bum ba bum. This item can pull insane combinations. It's almost always insane on your secondary carry. So if you're like playing secondary carry jacks, this item's almost always insane. Plus, it can pull some insane combinations in this game. Radiant. This is a Radiant tier list, and I'm splitting to here. Let me say I'm doing Radiant picking item Radiant tier list. IMO Radiant Redemption is the best. Redemption is too low. I think compared to the other tank items, Redemption is not selfish enough. Like for example, who's a good user of Redemption? Probably I use someone like Hecarim, but Hecarim happens to be better with 1, 2, 3, 4 items. So relative to the rest of the items, Redemption can't go up, right? Like which it's really rare in the game right now for a unit to want AoE healing. It's almost always selfish healing. So compared to the rest of the items, because like who would you put Redemption on, right? Like units like Galio, units like Garen, units like Hecarim, they always want something else, which is why I have it low. I'm not saying that there aren't users of Redemption. If I had infinite Radiant items, then Redemption value would go high. It's that you're competing with other Radiant items, and Redemption is not selfish enough. This is fun though. I'm gonna be quiet to watch. Okay, sure, that's fair. Okay, anyway, so Thieves' Glass can pull some insane combinations, almost always good on your secondary carry. Plus, if Thieves' Glass pull any of these items like Shroud and Zephyr, it's almost always just a free win. I think this time's insane. Trap Claw is either S tier or A tier. I can't decide. I think it's A tier because against a lot of comps, Trap Claw is game breaking. Against assassins like Viego and Diana, Trap Claw nullifies that comp completely. However, against some of the meta comps like Karma, not Karma, against MF Cavaliers, Trap Claw does virtually nothing. MF's ultimate instantly procs Trap Claw and continues to do damage. Units like Hecarim will just completely nullify Trap Claw. So while I think Trap Claw is an amazing item, I think it's actually A tier because of how badly it does into certain comps. Now, if your game has a lot of assassins, then Trap Claw is definitely S tier. But I would say it's definitely, I think, around A tier. Titans is a carry item, but I think it could be counted as a utility item. Titans is either a B tier or A tier utility item. It gives you so many stats. On a lot of users like Jax or Fiddlesticks, it gives you enough stats for it to be super strong. But I think it's more of a carry item. I'll probably put it in the carry item section. Warmogs is definitely A tier. Warmogs is not as good as these items. Warmogs is a really strong item in general. The 1% regeneration is huge. It can make super strong super tanks. The one problem I have with Warmogs is that some compositions can't really use it that well. Let's just say you're playing 6 Skirmisher Jax. Warmogs is not as good as another item on this list usually, but it's usually pretty okay. Zeke is a carry item. Zephyr's either S tier or A tier depending on how sweaty you are. If you're super sweaty and you're tracking your opponents every single turn, and you can Zephyr the carry, it's probably the best item in the game. Now the problem with Zephyr is that like no one wants to go through the hassle of doing that. And if you just leave it on like a random square, then Zephyr's probably B tier. Radiant TG should be a tier above S. No, Shroud and Radiant TG is about the same. Anyways, for Zephyr, I'm gonna put a A tier because I think it's somewhere between A and B. I'm gonna put A tier. Radiant Zizarot. I think Radiant Zizarot is probably. Radiant Zizarot is the worst version of Locket. Radiant Zizarot, or worst version of Locket, is definitely D tier. It could go to F tier. Okay, now here's the question: do we want to expand this into F tier, like the worst rating items? Now here's my thinking. I think the worst rating items these two. I mean, Radiant Frozen Heart is not even that bad. It's good on Diana and Pike, but the thing about Radiant Frozen Heart is that it's only good on Diana and Pike. It could be Radiant Morelo one of the worst as well, because Radiant Morel has no holders. I doubt to just keep it at this. Meridian Morel is the worst. Why would you ever pick it? It's good on a few units like Fiddlesticks. It's also good on a few units like Pike. But it is pretty bad. It's also good on Cannon. It's good on Cannon, Pike, and Fiddlesticks. But these are pretty bad. Okay, I would say overall I'm pretty happy with this pick order. Now, I guess maybe Sunfire should be moved up a little bit. Because, like, comparing to these three items, I think Sunfire is actually stronger. I think I'll be happy with this. So let me delete this row. I think overall I'm happy with this. Garen? No. Oh, sorry. Mordok, by the way, for Meridian Morel, we're just the reason why we put it so low is because at the time you're picking it, usually you want to make it an immediate board impact, right? You want to have an immediate board you want to give it immediate board strength, and you can't find Garen or Volibear at the time. So like, which is why even though late game for sure Radiant Morelo is way better than Radiant Sunfire, at the time of picking you almost always pick Sunfire over Morelo. It's just really unfortunate that the Morelo users appear so late in the game. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this tier list. So let's go ahead and save this one maybe. Okay, well let's go ahead and do the carry item tier list. Let's go ahead and save this anyways because I want to see which of the carry items I haven't done yet. Okay, so for the carry items, the first one up is BT and Archangels. Okay, so I think this is fascinating. Oh, is it? Ionic is tier C when it's the highest win rate item. Okay, everyone keeps saying this. Ionic Spark is, I think the win rate is artificially inflated because Ionic Spark is only played in Abomination, and Abomination had the highest win rate. So it's like using the highest win rate right here doesn't mean anything because you only pick Abomination when you're playing. You only pick Ionic Spark when you're playing Abomination, and Ionic Spark's win rate is good because Abomination is really strong with it. And our Abomination had the highest win rate for a long time. You're running with Hecarim? Okay, it's good on Hecarim as well. I get that, but like, unless you're playing those two comps specifically, it's really hard. Give me props. Oh yeah, it was Ferrari, Jang who mentioned that. But the thing is that on Hecarim, Warmox is arguably better on Hecarim. So is Bramble, right? On Hecarim, these two are probably arguably better. It's close, but it's arguable. Okay, let's do it. Archangels. I think Archangels is probably between a B and a C tier. I have to think about it later. I think it's just for most units not named Heimerdinger, this is just a worse version of Drogon and Decap. And these you have to compare. I'm pretty sure you have to compare this item with Drogon and Decap. Bloodthirster, I'm pretty sure Bloodthirster is S tier. The thing about healing is that if you have enough healing, you can go infinite. And Bloodthirster allows you to have enough healing to go infinite for a lot of units. Units like Jax, units like Akshan, units like Aphelios, units like Draven. This item gives you so many stats that the moment your unit can go infinite, this is like the best item in the game. So the fact that Bloodthirster allows you to get there, it makes it one of the best in my opinion. It's either an S tier or A tier. Also, before you guys criticize this, let me clarify that you pick a utility item when you don't have a composition that you're going for. But let's just say you're going for a composition like 6 skirmishers. That's when you would pick a carry item. So in general, if you're undecided, pick a utility item. If you're decided, pick a carry item. Usually when you're decided on a comp, usually a carry item is stronger than a utility item. So like usually if you're playing 6 skirmisher jacks, BT will be stronger than units items like Trap Claw or even like Thieves Glass or what's it called, Shroud. So undecided, these items are better. When you're decided, these items are generally a little bit better. Okay, so let me continue. Blue buff, pretty sure it's the worst item in the game. It's only good on Ziggs and Teemo. Teemo you can never find, and Ziggs is really hard to justify running as a carry. Pretty sure blue buff is the worst. Chalice is actually not that bad, but I'm gonna put in a C tier for now. Chalice is actually not that bad because if you're running it like an evoker board with like Karma, maybe not Valkas, Karma Teemo, Heimer, a Chalice is so much value. But like I said, it's really hard to get there. And like until you get there, it's really hard to justify picking this up. Most of the times you're not gonna have 3 units that care about AP and spell vamp. Carry items are stronger than utility items. Hence why Deathblade and Deathcap carry items are so boring. No, I know. I'm not saying that they're not strong, Mortdog. Sorry. I'm saying that they're not exciting. Like, I don't get excited when I pick a Deathblade, you know? I get excited when I pick items like Thieves' Gloves and Shroud. Blue is F tier. Why is blue F tier? Is D tier. I think it doesn't have a lot of good users. I think the best users are Teemo and Ziggs, but you don't get them till late game. Okay, what's next on the list? Deathblade. Okay, Deathblade. Deathblade is either A tier or B tier. I haven't really decided. I think Deathblade is not bad. I just don't think it's as strong as the other 80 items on this list. So maybe I'll move it around later. Translator, I'm pretty sure Translator is actually really bad. It's deceptively bad. Because let me see what the threshold is. The threshold is 1400. It's actually really surprising how many units aren't 1400. Like for example, 2-star Aurelia, I'm pretty sure it's not 1400. Let me check. There's a lot of units when you pick it. It doesn't cross the threshold. It's really surprising to me. But I remember when I was looking through the list. Here, let me search by HP. 1400, right? What's Demon Slayer? 1400. So anything 1750 below doesn't cross the threshold. Yeah, anything 750 below doesn't cross the threshold. So like the list is so long. There's only these units that cross the threshold. About half the units in the game don't cross the threshold, especially when you're picking this item. It actually doesn't cross the threshold very often. So it's deceptively actually kind of bad. Curious what your opinion is. If I said Socks, it feels like you're judging these items more on the champs that can use them rather than the items. If Karma was S tier, you put blue as S tier. Yeah, that's fair. I think this is a more of a measurement of current strength right now. I agree with that. Like these tier lists will have to be updated as champions who use it well get updated, right? I can agree with that. But at the moment, blue buff is almost a never pick. Because the thing about blue buff is that like the items that the units that use it well aren't very strong in the comp aren't very strong right now. Okay, let's continue. Okay, is GA a carry item? I don't think so, right? But if it was a carry item, it's probably A tier or B tier. It's definitely decent on a lot of units. It's not gonna be the best, but let me go ahead and put it on this list as well. Gwynsu's pretty sure Gwynsu's an F tier. It's either D tier or F tier. This item is so trash. I put on Aphelios a few times thinking it'll be really strong. It doesn't feel that much stronger than regular Rageblade. And like, compared to regular Rageblade, it doesn't do that much. And like, the units that use it well don't really want a Radiant item Rageblade. Like a regular Rageblade is almost always more than enough. I've never had success with Rageblade. I think this item is the worst, but I don't think it's F tier. I don't think it's F tier because I think it's actually passable. Like on an Italy, it's never gonna be a bad item, but it's just not very good. Hexagon Blade, I think is actually okay. I don't think it's amazing though. Let me see the item. I've never actually used it. 40 damage. Heals, also lowest ally. I know it's good on MF. I've never used it myself. It's probably around B tier or C tier. Let me put it on C tier for now. Hand of Justice. Hand of Justice is probably the best flex item. Hand of Justice honestly deserves to be on this page as well. Because when you don't know which comp you're going for, Hand of Justice is almost always a safe pick. I'm gonna put an A tier. The item is always gonna be good. It's never gonna be bad. It always has, like, if your carry wants damage, it's always gonna want Hand of Justice. If your carry wants healing, it's always gonna want Hand of Justice. On a lot of units that do mixed damage, units like Lucian, this item is like best in slot. So that's really strong. It's always good. It's just the things that it's always good. Like you would pick, sometimes you would definitely pick Bloodthirster over Hand of Justice for the units that use Bloodthirster, but like you would never be sad to have a Hand of Justice on there. Infinity Edge is probably stronger than Deathblade as a damage item. The radiant bonus on Infinity Edge is really high, 40% damage, because you can think of that as like a 1.8 damage multiplier, 1.8 damage multiplier, right? Because you're always critting, your crits do 180% damage. It's a little less than that. It's like probably a 1.7 multiplier if you factor in base crit, but it's pretty strong. Ionic Spark, I'm not gonna put here. Drill Gauntlet, I'm pretty sure Drill Gauntlet it's probably on the same level as Deathcap. That item is passable. It's not. It's definitely strong. Feels like Drill Gauntlet and Infinity should be on the same tier though. I don't know. I don't know how to rank these three in between. Let me put them on the same thing, and I'll think about it later. QSS is like only good on Jax, but it's passable. It's like only good on Jax. I don't think there's another unit that uses it, but it's actually pretty good on Jax. If you're playing Jax, QSS is not a bad item, but it's only good on Jax. IE is better than Spellcrit? I think so too, but I don't know if the difference is marginal that I can put it above a tier. Deathcap is on this. Deathcap and Drill Gauntlet should be on the same page. Deathcap I think is a little bit stronger when you already have a lot of when you don't have any AP. Drill Gauntlet I think is a little stronger when you have AP, but they're definitely very comparable. RFC is only good on Yasuo and Jax, but it's actually Yasuo, Jax, and Draven, but it has more uses than QSS. On Yasuo, it's really strong. It's like super strong Yasuo. Okay, pretty sure this is the strongest AD item in the game. Renown's Hurricane, because Renown's Hurricane, the buff is quite high. Renown's Hurricane, 110. The base Renown's Hurricane is 75, so it goes up by 35. That's actually a huge amount. And then the radiant attack speed is 30%. This is probably the single highest DPS boost for a lot of carries, like Tristana, like for Riven. For units that just auto attack, and like Akshan, this is the single highest DPS item. Last Whisper is really bad. At least same here. It's not bad if you need. The thing about Last Whisper is that it's a tech item. So tech items that like counter the lobby is only good if a lot of the lobby goes for that. And in general, at stage 3-6, you don't know how many people are actually going to play Ironclad. So like let's just say if 0 people are playing Ironclad, this item's pretty much dead. If like 6 people are playing Ironclad, it's the best item in the game. But like at 3-6, it's almost impossible to tell. Same thing with Stack Shiv. I mean, Stack Shiv is just worse than Last Whisper. But because these are counter tech items, they're almost never pickable. More fiercely typing? No. This is my opinion, right? I don't think this is I have no data. But anyways, these items are just tech items in my opinion. What are you guys talking about? According to Riot data, Ionic Spark is best rating item. Like I said, I think Mordog said this on his AMA. The reason why he'll never release the internal data to the public is because the public will use that internal data and take the wrong conclusion from it. Such as, if Radiant Spark is the highest win rate item, I should always pick Radiant Spark. That's just flat out untrue. And like, basically, I'm using my own judgment to say I don't think Radiant Spark is good. Now, one day, like enough users of Radiant Spark where I see people build Radiant Spark enough, I might move it up to a B tier or even A tier, right? But at the moment, I don't care what the data says. I don't think Radiant Spark is that good. It's not about the data, right? Like eventually, like your opinions will change with data and different like when people present different arguments. But like at the moment, you can't just say Radiant Spark has the highest winner and expect me to think that it's an S tier item. Alright, let's continue. Shojin. Okay. If Blue Bubble was the worst item, I'm pretty sure Shojin is the worst item. Shojin, you know, for so many units, Shojin doesn't make a difference compared to regular Shojin, and it gives you no bonus stats for so many units. I can't even. It actually blows my mind how many units that there's no difference between Shojin and no Shojin. It is actually mind blowing. Like for example, let's take Vel'Koz, right? Now I don't know if Vel'Koz has a different makes a difference, but Vel'Koz's mana is. Vel'Koz's mana is. Where is it? Where's his ability? 80, right? So 80 minus 15 from the base tier divided by Shojin, which is 18, is 4 auto attacks. Now with Radiant Shojin, it's divided by 10 plus 15, 25. Oh, it is an additional auto. Okay, for Vel'Koz is an additional auto. But okay, for units like Lucian, let's take Lucian as an example. Lucian, 50 divided minus 15, 35. 35 divided by 18 and 35 divided by 25 is the same number. For so many units, this doesn't do anything. Pretty sure, pretty sure Shojin is possibly the worst item. It's 4 autos versus 5 autos with isn't it with okay, if we're talking about that with it still feels like a really bad item. I don't know. I think Shojin is probably the worst item. It's close because it doesn't give you any bonus stats. Like casting 1 auto faster it doesn't amount to any of the other stuff that Radiant items give you. It's definitely F tier. It's definitely D tier. I don't know if it's F tier. Ah, okay, here. Let me add a F tier. Just because I don't know. I feel like we deserve to have some F tiers in the agree. Okay, let me add F tier. Okay, F tier Shojin Stack Shiv. Okay, I didn't talk about Stack Shiv earlier, but Stack Shiv is so bad. It actually blows my mind how bad it can be. I don't know why Stack Shiv is bad, but every time I pick this item, it does negligible damage. It's only good on Akshan, who doesn't even do any physical damage, who doesn't even do any magical damage. This item straight up feeds mana more damage. It feeds more mana than it does damage. I don't even know why. Try Aphelios Heimer? Aphelios and Heimer? Okay. With Heimer, I'm sure Radiant Shojin is good. But you don't get Shojin here. And for Aphelios, pretty sure Aphelios wants any of these items better, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Any of these items over Shojin. Okay, Times Resolve. Times Resolve is really gonna on like a tank type of carry. It's either A tier or B tier. The stats it gives is insane. It's probably B tier. It doesn't have that many users, but if you can find a good user like Garen, if you can find a stack Garen, it's really, really strong. Zeke's. Okay, Zeke's is really strong. I don't know why Zeke's is strong. I can't tell you why Zeke's is strong, but that 10% lifesteal, it just makes such a big difference. I can't tell you why this item is strong though. It's probably not stronger than these items though. Honestly, I don't think GA is as strong as these items either. Yeah, I have to fix this later. And then I'm pretty sure that's it. Okay. Let me fix this. Okay, let me fix it. First off, there's definitely okay, I would almost always take Infinite Edge over Deathblade. I can't tell you why, I just think it's stronger. So I'm gonna move Infinite Edge up. These two are the same tier for me. So either they both move up or they both stay here. Down to move both up. No, I'm down to move both down. Tristana, Radiant, Titanic is insane. No, there's a lot of good Titanic users. Titanic is not a bad item, but it's really hard to justify picking Titanic on 80 carries over these two items. I think this is something I'm happy with. Does anyone know why Radiant IE feels better than the Radiant Deathblade, by the way? To me, it does. It feels like that. Now, I don't know if the actual damage, I don't know if the actual damage is like that, but like Radiant IE is like 100, it multiplies your AD by 1.8, while Deathblade, it gives you 100 AD right off the bat, right? $15 times 4 plus 20. It gives you 80 damage. So for units that have 100 AD or less, Deathblade is just always better. But Bramble exists. Oh, that's true. Bramble does exist. Well, either way, I like this. I like this. This is how I'm gonna do it, I think. Now, do you guys disagree with anything? Is any disagreement anywhere? Maybe Shojin's not the same tier as Static. Static Shiv and Gunsu's are for sure the worst. These two items are so bad. Oh god, blue buff feels so bad too. These two are for sure the worst. These two are for sure the worst. Static Shiv is also just an early game item. Gunsu is just so bad. Gunsus need like 2% more on the item for it to be good, I think. I think you're underestimating Chalice when comparing something like Death Cap. I don't think I'm underestimating Chalice. It's one spot below. It's not like unbuildable. The item's definitely strong. It's not as strong as these two items for sure, right? Like, I don't think anyone can argue that the Chalice is stronger than Death Cap or Drill Gauntlet. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this. But you know something? I value the AD items a lot higher than the AP items in general right now. I think that's partially because AD carries are stronger. Anyways, let me go ahead and post this. Gwynsus is now Radiant bonus minus X starting attack speed tuned to 10, but may need more. 10% starting attack speed, 10 may need more. Oh, it has a starting bonus. Yeah, that could help. That could help quite a bit.